What's up, YouTube? Thomas L here, with Laurence Fishburne back on the big screen this week in John Wick Chapter 3, which of course reteams him with Keanu Reeves once again. I decided to do my top 10 favorite Laurence Fishburne movies, because he's kind of a legend. You know, Fishburne has been around for decades. I mean, he was big like in the 70s and 80s, and also he's on that show Blackish, which I think he's terrific on. But he's been some really great stuff. So, that being said, here's my 10 favorite Laurence Fishburne movies. Coming in at number 10 is a film called Mystic River, which is based on a book by Dennis Liane. And in it, it's about the daughter of an ex-con played by the daughter, by the way, is played by young Emmy Rossum, who of course is best known for Shameless fame. Anyway, in it, Emmy Rossum's character, ends up getting murdered, and she's like the daughter of an ex-con named Jim Marcus, played by Sean Penn. And so, like, two of his childhood friends from the neighborhood are like involved with the murder. You've got Tim Robbins as a character named Dave, who's like a blue collar worker, and was the last person to see her alive and on. And you've got Kevin Bacon as a character named Sean, who's a homicide detective who is heading up the case and all. So Sean pretty much proceeds with the investigation here, and you gotta try to find out like what person is involved with the murder. And here you got Laurence Fishburne as the detective in this during the case, named Sergeant Whitey Powers. Laurence Fishburne was pretty good at playing the detective here. I mean, he's great when it comes to playing a detective or a police commissioner or whatever. And he had some pretty good moments in this film. The movie was also directed by Clint Eastwood, who did a great job at directing. This movie got released in 2003 and it scored an Oscar nomination for Best Picture, but it lost out to the last Lord of the Rings movie, which I mean, no, the last Lord of the Rings movie was good, but I still think Mystic River was probably the better film. Because it's a really good movie. If you guys never seen Mystic River, it's a really cool murder mystery thriller with great performances by Penn, by Robbins, Marsha Gay Harden's in this, Laura Linney, Emma Rossum was pretty good in her part. Really good film. Check out Mystic River if you guys never seen it. Alright, coming in at number 9 is Last Flag Flying. Now here, Laurence Fishburne plays a Rev named Richard Muller, and like he pretty much served in the Vietnam War with two other fellows. One is a character named Larry Doc Shepard, played by Steve Carell, and the other is a guy named Sal Nealon, played by Bryan Cranston. And they end up reuniting for a different mission to bury Doc's son in it, who was like a young Marine who was killed in Iraq. And so like they decide to take the casket on a bittersweet trip up coast to New Hampshire, and like along the way they reconnect and all, and of course they make estimates about their past together and all. It's a really good film. I mean, it was directed by Richard Linklater, who did a great job at directing. I like the chemistry between Fishburne, Cranston, and Carell. Really good film, and it's of course also it's also a remake as well. Really good film. If you guys never had a chance to check out Last Flag Flying, do yourself a favor, give it a go. It's a really good film. Kind of wish it did more when it got released, because it's really good. Coming in at number 8 is Akeelah and the Bee. Now, the film stars Keke Palmer as a character named Akeelah, who's like an 11-year-old girl living in South Los Angeles. And her talent is pretty much spelling, so she pretty much enters the National Spelling Bee. And her coach is played by Laurence Fishburne, and Angela Bassett plays her mother here, who kind of objects her from doing so. It's a really good, inspirational little film. No, I really like the chemistry between Keke Palmer and Laurence Fishburne. They work together pretty well here. Angela Bassett was terrific. We don't really see a whole lot of spelling bee movies anymore, but this is definitely one of the better spelling bee movies we've had in years. Alright. Coming in at number 7 is Man of Steel. Now, in Man of Steel, Lawrence Fishburne played the character of Perry White, who's like the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet and is also the boss of Lois Lane. I mean, there's been other actors who played Perry White before, but I gotta say, Lawrence Fishburne is probably my favorite portrait of Perry White. He plays that role really well. I liked his line in Batman vs Superman where the line was, "No one cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman." Probably one of the most memorable lines from Batman vs Superman. Granted, I actually do like Batman vs Superman, by the way, but anyway. It's a shame that we probably won't see Lawrence Fishburne play the role again, because I thought he was terrific as Perry White, and it'll be interesting to see what other actors who'll take on the character after Fishburne, but should be interesting to see. Alright. Coming in at number 6 is Biker Boys. Now, this is a really fun, this movie is actually pretty fun. It's like a biker's film, hence the title. And in it, it's about Will, who's like the mechanic for a legendary motorcycle racer named Smoke, played by Laurence Fishburne, is struck dead during an off-the-grid race. So, following the funeral, and in opposition to his mother's protesters, Slick Will's son, named Kid, played by Derek Luke, starts racing in the same fringe circuit. But like, despite Kid's still skill and showmanship, Smoke ends up refusing to race him. Spawned by the men who like looked up to him and it's like a pretty cool biker racing movie. I guess you could say it's like Fast and Furious, but with bikes. That's what this movie, kind of is like. It's really cool. Like Lawrence Fishburne, I mean, he was like clean shaven in this. He looked really cool in this. Derek Luke was great. You also had Megan Good. Who else was in this? Well, it's been a while since I've seen Biker Boys. This movie also got released in 2003. Nice. The other cast also includes the likes of Kid Rock, Orlando Jones, John Manhattan was in this, Rick Gonzalez, Tyson Beckford, Kadeem Hardison, Vanessa Bell Calloway. Some really great cast members. I mean, if you guys never see Biker Boys, it's probably one of my favorite bike-based movies that came out in years. It's really good. And some of those, they don't really do a whole lot of movies about bike racing, and this is a really fun one. I mean, it's a shame we never got to see a sequel to this, because I would love to have seen another one. But if you guys never seen Biker Boys yet, check it out. It's really fun. Alright, coming in at number 5 is School Days. Now here you got Laurence Fishburne as a activist-minded named Dab, who like immerses himself in the world of politics and social movement. So like one day he ends up hoping to rally the students as a united front. And like at the other end of the spectrum, Julian, played by Giancarlo Esposito, who's like the head of the biggest fraternity on campus, is more concerned with maintaining a strict social order in between Dab's conflicted cousin named Halfpint, played by Spike Lee. Now, of course, Spike Lee actually directed this film as well. Like, this is one of the rare films that Spike Lee actually both starred and directed it. Because if you guys know, Spike Lee mainly just directs. He's not really that much of an actor. But he's appeared in stuff. and School Days is definitely one of them. And the movie actually got released in 1988, and also featured a cast that included the likes of Teacher Count Martin, Sam Jackson was in this, Jasmine Guy, the aforementioned Kadeem Hardison, Bill Nunn was in this. You also had Ozzie Davis, Casey Davis, some really good cast members. I mean, this is pretty much an 80s style classic with some cool 80s gear, some cool 80s hairstyle. You could tell this whole movie was released in the 80s because, how everyone always pretty much looked back then. It's a really good film. It's probably not like Spike Lee's best joint or anything, but it's still pretty decent. Coming in at number 4 is What's Love Got to Do with It? Now, this movie is based on the life of legendary soul singer Tina Turner, and it shows her relationship with the charismatic Ike Turner, and it's pretty much like a relationship movie between Ike Turner and Tina Turner. Angela Bassett, I think Tina Turner is probably Angela Bassett's best performance. She was great as a role. Laurence Fishburne was terrific as Ike Turner. They really embody the roles of those two. I mean, Laurence Fishburne and Angela Bassett have worked together a couple of times, and this is definitely one of them. They were also together in Akeelah and the Bee, which I was talking about earlier. Really good film. I mean, I think Angela Bassett's got an Oscar nomination for this, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I think she should have gotten an Oscar nomination. She was great as a role, and I mean, if you guys never seen What's Love Got to Do with It, check it out. It's a really good film about Tina Turner. Alright, coming in at number 3 is a film called Hoodlum. Now, in it, it stars Laurence Fishburne as famed gangster Bumpy Johnson, who has been released from jail, and he ends up returning to his criminal ways as a linchpin in the African American run numbers racket. So, however, you got Bumpy's longtime friend Illinois Gordon, played by Chai McBride, and his girlfriend Francine Hughes, played by Vanessa Williams, who are both eager to get him back on the streets and narrow. And so, after a brewing rivalry with a mob boss, Lucky Lucino, played by Andy Garcia, and his henchman Dutch Stokes, played by Tim Roth, is trying to raise some stakes and to dangerous new levels and all. This film is pretty much a gangster film, and Laurence Fishburne, he was great as Bumpy Johnson. Now, Forrest Whitaker is actually playing the role in an upcoming series called The Godfather of Harlem, which I'm actually looking forward to check out. But I think Laurence Fishburne was great as Bumpy Johnson. He was a tough streetwise gangster. I mean, and Laurence Fishburne played that role really perfectly. And Hoodlum had a pretty other good supporting cast. Like Queen Latifah was in this, Cicely Tyson, Clarence Williams, the Dirt was in this. You had Loretta Devine, Mike Starr was in this film, Bo Starr. Yeah, this is a really cool gangster film worth checking out. And, not to mention, it was also directed by Bill Duke, who did a great job at directing. Really cool film. I mean, it really showed on who Bumpy Johnson was and, his time in the, crime business. Really amazing film. Check out Hoodlum if you guys haven't seen it. Alright, coming in at number 2 is Boys in the Hood. Now here, Laurence Fishburne played the character Ferris Styles, who was the dad of Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character Trey. There's some really memorable moments in this, but I really like the father and son moment between Fishburne and Jr. Now, believe it or not, back in the 80s, 70s, and 90s, Lawrence Fishburne actually went by the name Larry Fishburne, but since then, since after the '90s, he's now really called Lawrence Fishburne. So, but anyway, yeah. At first, I used to always thought that Larry Fishburne and Lawrence Fishburne was a different person, but then I realized, wait, that's the same guy. But anyway, yeah, Boys in the Hood is a terrific movie. It was directed by the late great John Singleton. Ice Cube was in this. Angela Bassett was also in this. You also had Neil Long, Morris Chestnut. Such a great movie. It's a film about growing up, of course. It's also, I guess you could say it's also about like a father-son relationship as well, because they had some pretty good relationships in Boys in the Hood, both Junior and Fishburne. They both really work together really wonderfully. And yeah, if you guys never seen Boys in the Hood by now, do yourself a favor. If it's on TV or whatever, check out Boys in the Hood. It's a really terrific movie. It's probably my favorite movie of the early 1990s. It's that great of a film, I mean, like I said in my top 5 John Singleton movies, that John Singleton was the first ever African American director to get nominated for a Best Directing award at the Oscars. So, and John Singleton did a great job at directing this, and yeah, such a really amazing film. Definitely check out Boys in the Hood if you guys never seen it. It's a really good one. But now my number one favorite. I'm not done here. All right, my number one favorite Lawrence Fishburne movie is that obvious? My number one favorite is The Matrix. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne as Morbius. Come on, Morbius is a really cool character. You had Keanu Reeves as the role of Neo. Carrie Ann Moss was in this, directed by the Wachowski siblings. They did a great job at directing. Had some really cool special effects at the time. The movie actually turns, I believe it turned 20 this year, and it's a sci-fi movie that still holds up today. Has some cool gadgets in it, some cool effects. And Lawrence Fishburne, I mean, this is definitely his best role ever, is as Morbius. He was great as a role. I mean, just think. Other actors were actually considered for the role of Morbius. Actors including Gary Oldman, Sam Jackson, and Val Kilmer were all actually considered for the role. And even Sean Connery was considered as well. But, of course, they turned it down, and Lawrence Fishburne played the role. I mean, it would have been odd seeing Sam Jackson as this. There's lots of... There's like an... this might be a change of subject, but one time Sam Jackson... was being interviewed for something, and the interviewer accidentally called Sam Jackson Lawrence Fishburne. Then Sam Jackson had to go up the record and say, "I'm not Lawrence Fishburne." Okay, I cannot do a good Sam Jackson impersonation, but anyway, that was a pretty funny and awkward interview. But anyway, back to The Matrix. Now, of course, Lawrence Fishburne reprised his role as Morbius in the other sequels, which I admit, the other sequels are not all that good. The first Matrix is the best. I mean, I think it's one of the best sci-fi movies of the 90s. It's a film that still holds up today, and to me, it's Lawrence Fishburne's best work. He's just great as Morbius, and I know I've been hearing they might actually do a reboot or a relaunch or a sequel or whatever. I'm really curious who they're going to get to play Morbius, because, I mean, it'll be hard to top Lawrence Fishburne's performance, because he was that great as Morbius. And it's pretty cool that Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves ended up reteaming again for John Wick 2. Then now, of course, they're in John Wick 3. Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne's, it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely his best work. And if they do another Matrix, I'll be down to see Lawrence Fishburne play the role again. Not really sure if that will ever happen, but who knows? Anything's possible. Alright, now, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, Mystic River. 9, Last Flag Flying. 8, Aquila and the Bee. 7, Man of Steel. 6, Biker Boys. 5, School Days. 4, What's Love Got to Do with It. 3, Hoodlum. 2, Boys in the Hood. 1, The Matrix. Now, Laurence Fishburne has been in loads of other stuff over the years. I mean, he's just an awesome actor. So let me watch movies. He was also in a Ride Along, which I thought was pretty. I thought that was a cool twist. That he ended up being the villain in Ride Along. Spoiler, by the way. Of course, the movie got released in 2014, but still. Anyway, I always keep forgetting he was in Apocalypse Now for some reason. He was pretty good in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Attilio, which is based on a Shakespeare play. He was in Passengers. He was pretty good in The Mule, which also had Clint Eastwood and was directed by him. Deep Cover. Everyone likes Event Horizon. I never cared for it. He was in The Color Purple? Boy. Let's see. He was in the Predators movie, the one that was directed by Robert Rodriguez. Assault on Prison 13 he was in. Contagion. Higher Learning he was pretty good at, which was also directed by John Singleton. Osmosis Jones he was in. Fled, with Stephen Baldwin. That was pretty fun. He was also in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, which I think he wants to have people forget. He was in Mission Impossible 3, Just Cause, speaking of Sean Connery, Searching for Bobby Fischer, Rumblefish, Red Heat with Arnold, The Decon Club. I always keep forgetting he was in Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3. He was in the Emilio Estevez movie Bobby, Five Fingers, Bobby Z. He was in. He's been in some pretty decent stuff over the years. He's also been in some not so good stuff like Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, Armored, and I mean not everything that Laurence Fishburne was in turned out gold. But anyway, and not to mention I think he's also really great at playing Anthony Anderson's dad on the show Blackish. And I liked when he had like his little guest spot on Grown-ush, like his like the interaction between him and Zoe's boyfriend was pretty funny. But anyway, let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Laurence Fishburne movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Tom Sells signing off.